Yeah. Tonight on the Boom Bap Chat, we welcome in Jermiside. Yo, Tell. Yo, Io. Let's start the show.
Yo, let's start this show. The Boom Bap Chat number 106. I am MC Till.
And I am Profound.
And I am IB. I am Mas Murad.
Yo, I'm excited this week, fellas. I'll tell you what, I'm excited. Well, I'm sure you guys are going to share too. But Profound, what's on your mind tonight, man?
What you mean, man? You know what's on my mind, man. We got release dates and stuff, man. And midnight,
man.
Right? Or no?
Yeah, man. Yep.
Man, the album, the book, Jermiside tonight. Yeah, man. Let's get cracking.
It's gonna be a good night. Good night. Moss, man. How you feeling?
I'm great, man.
I thought you had more.
Oh, no, I'm good, man. I'm good.
I'm good too, man. And what Profound was talking about just a moment ago, he has kind of entered the matrix here for a minute, like glitching on you, Profound. But what he was getting at is that tonight at midnight, we got some releases coming. Our book, The Native Tongues Review, that we've been working on for a long time. It is here, so you can order that at boombapreview.com. And Profound's album is here too, Distant Gratification. So you can bundle those together at boombapreview.com or get one or the other. It's all good. So we're excited about that. And we're also excited because we have like some of the best guests coming up over the next, several weeks, few months.
Absolutely.
And we're going to start just a slew of dope guests tonight. Tonight's guest, formerly of Cincinnati, now by way of Atlanta, he just released what I think is a contender for hip hop album of the year. It's a really dope project called The Overview Effect, and we'll get into that and much more. Let's go ahead and do it, man. Join me as we welcome to the Boom Bap Chat, Jermiside.
Yo, what's good?
Yo,
loving the intro, loving that intro.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're loving the music and just appreciate you being on the show tonight, man. So welcome.
No problem, man. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, and it's always exciting when we, I'm in Cincinnati. I'm not from Cincinnati, but I've been in Cincinnati for a long time now. So it's my new home now. And I've been, embraced and accepted by a lot of folks here. And, you were kind of moving out right as I was moving in, going to Atlanta. So I kind of want to start there, like with the Cincinnati hip hop scene. And just, I have ideas, but I want to just like get your take on you, like if you could describe the Cincinnati hip hop scene as you experienced it, people, how would you describe it?
Yeah, man. Well, when I first started kind of getting in the mix or whatever, it was like the mid to late 90s. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, we had a couple groups and stuff like that was kind of, like bubbling up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was, of course, you had DJ Hot Tech, and Mood was out doing their thing. They had the joint Cincinnati, that was dope. And then we had a lot of underground talent there too, around the late 90s, early 2000s that, I was a huge fan of. You had like the 5Ds, which, you know what I'm saying, Fat John, Pace Rock, oh shoot, man, my other guy, what's his name?
Oh, it's on my list.
Kyle, my man Kyle.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Those brothers. You had Mr. Dibs doing his thing on the DJ side. It was a lot of dope underground artists that was like bubbling at that time. You know what I'm saying? Even I guess like Boom Bip on kind of the more down tempo, lo-fi kind of vibe, things like that. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, man. And I come from like that, what people like to call golden era. You know what I mean? Like the late 80s, early 90s kind of flavor like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So those groups, they really spoke to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, 5Ds, et cetera, they all cut from that same kind of cloth. So, hearing them, that really kind of motivated me to, kind of get out and do my thing and inspired me. So yeah, I mean, the hip hop scene around that time, it was dope, man. And then we had Scribble Jam and things like that. We used to come from all across the country, all across the world, to converge on Cincinnati for Scribble Jam. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Yeah, I've always loved the Cincinnati hip hop scene, and have expressed that I think it's one of the better, in my view, one of the better hip hop scenes around. But I'm biased because I live here now. But it's a dope scene. So, Iomas and Profound, both being from Chicago, you guys have talked about, like, in your hip hop experience, there were like not gatekeepers, but there were like elders, of the community, of the hip hop community, that kind of like, made sure that you were on point. Were there any folks like that in Cincinnati when you were coming up, like hip hop elders that were like, yo, you need to go back and, you need to try that again, or, you do it like this? Anyone like to look up to like that was like, living into your life?
I don't know about directly, you know what I'm saying, but indirectly, like just kind of looking at the scene, I would say Mr. Dibs was probably Mr. Dibs, G Fresh, you know what I'm saying, the people that were kind of like at the helm of like Scribble Jam. And I remember they had a show back in the day called B-Boys Underground. You know what I mean? The 1200 Hobos, people like that.
Yeah.
I would say, they were kind of like I guess, maybe gatekeepers per se or whatever.
Right.
Everybody who was doing something had some kind of connection with them or affiliation.
Yeah.
So yeah, So I would say probably Mr. Dibs.
Mr. Dibs. Shout out Mr. Dibs. And then what was the experience like moving to the Atlanta hip hop scene?
You know what, man? When I got down here, I didn't really start to explore the scene like real heavy. Like when I first got down, seems like when I got down here, I just put out a release with Brick Beats. He's up there in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
We got a duo, called the Red Giants. I put out that release, and then I was kind of running around, here and there, kind of promoting that release and everything like that. So yeah, like when I first got down here, I mean, it was, I don't know, it kind of felt similar to the Cincinnati hip hop, underground scene. I mean, they had their spots. Like in comparison, I would say like we had Top Cats, they had Apache Cafe. We had Everybody's Records. Their equivalent would be like was it Earwax Records downtown. RIP.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the type of music that I do, I would say it was real similar. Like you can go to any city and pretty much find that, that little circle, that inner niche of people who are, more inclined towards, those, core, golden era hip hop values, or what we would call the underground.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was able to come down here and kind of get in touch with people, kind of moving and shaking, and
Yeah, dope. Iomas, Profound, anything?
Yeah, I wanted to know, did you ever get involved in Scribble Jam? I know I was in Scribble Jam like the year after the Juice and Eminem. So that was like 98, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was a dope year. That was a dope year. Yeah, I was down there. I performed with, I think, Tanya Morgan. They had just came out around what year was that? 2006, 5, something like that. I don't know. Whatever year that was. I was down there with Tanya Morgan, kind of vending, selling albums, et cetera, et cetera. We did a little performance at Top Cats and whatnot. But I never got involved in like the MC battles and stuff like that. I was more spectator and a fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember that the year Eminem came. That was something else.
Yeah,
Eminem,
Cincinnati got a dope scene. I was really
yeah.
impressed when I went down there. You know, Scribble Jam
Yeah.
had me coming back and forth for a few years.
Yeah, I think Ron Fest was there that year too.
Yeah, Ryan Fest was there too that year. Yep.
Was he in the battle?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
okay.
ended
Sure.
the final
Battle.
the final round was like Juice,
And
Ryan Fest, and Eminem.
Oh.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
the
it
Scribble
was
Jam.
it was
It
crazy.
was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man. I came in just after that. A few years after that. I
Yeah,
missed it.
man.
Missed it. Yeah. Yeah. So what was the when you were in Cincinnati, is that when you linked up with Tanya Morgan, or was it after you had?
Yep. That's when I was still in Cincinnati. You know, I was running around doing my thing, doing shows.
Yeah.
You know, I just put out like a little EP, you know what I'm saying? And I was kind of pushing that on anybody who would listen. You know, I was going to like all the record stores
Uh-huh.
and, you know, but just sitting CDs in there for free, you know, for people to pick up, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, people started kind of catching wind of what I was doing and whatnot. And, you know, I guess they kind of caught wind as well. But, you know, they grew up with Brick Beats, you know what I'm saying? And me and Brick Beats, we linked up from, you know, there was a website that was ran around that time. It was based there. It was called PassTheMic.com. I don't know if you had ever, you know, heard of it. But this is, you know, it was like probably around 2001 or something. Like this was before MySpace and SoundCloud and SoundClick and all of that stuff. We had PassTheMic.com where, you know, people from everywhere really, but, you know, it was based in Cincinnati. So a lot of Cincinnati artists used to post there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I would post my music there, and then they had like a top 10, you know, every now and then. My stuff popped up on the top 10. I think Brick Beats, his stuff popped up on the top 10 as well. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of, you know, we linked up from there. And you know, he introduced me to Don Will and Ilias. And then that's kind of how we got connected. You know, after that, we would just link up and knock out songs, and they would put out mixtapes, and, you know, they, you know, get me on there. I'll put them on mine. You know what I mean? It just became like a family pretty much.
Yeah. That's dope. That's super dope, man. You know, you probably heard, you know, we're promoting this book that we've done about the native tongues. And, you know, we're big fans of like hip hop crews, collectives. And one of the things we love about the native tongues is like it just kind of grew organically because people kind of had like the same values and similar creativity, and just like they kind of got in the room and start meeting each other and just like doing dope stuff. How was it like when the legendary crew got together? Was it similar or was it more strategic? Like, what was that process like of getting that crew together?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like minds. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely like mine. So like I was saying, when I heard Brick Beats, when I heard his production, I was like, oh yeah, man, that sounds like something, you know what I'm saying? I would listen to her. I would get down with. And, you know, I can only imagine probably when they, you know, heard me, you know, they felt the same way. Like, oh man, this is a kindred spirit right here. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I mean, for sure. I remember first time hearing Don Will rap. I'm like, man, this dude, he's going. Like he's like, man, I might have to step my bars up. If there's somebody else in the city rapping like this. And then, you know, we eventually, you know, kind of linked up. So I mean, it was definitely like a natural progression. And then, you know, they had already had a relationship with people like Von P, you know, Spec Boogie at the time was Rob Cave, now Elucid. You know, they had kind of already had that connection through like OK Player and being online and things like that. And then around that time, like Foreign Exchange, you know, they had came out. So that kind of opened up the gateway for people to kind of be in different cities and stuff like that and still connect. So, you know, I mean, because, you know, the Legendary is pretty much a combination of artists from Cincinnati, and, you know, at that time, everybody else was in Brooklyn.
Right.
As far as I know.
What's the status of the Legendary crew now? Like y'all still doing stuff as a crew?
Yeah. We definitely still doing stuff. You know, we finally put out a long awaited project ahead of schedule. You know, it came out a couple years ago, and then after that, we put out an instrumental project. And you know, we were just talking about doing another instrumental project, and then you know, who knows after that? You know, we might do another rap collab. But yeah, we still definitely we are family. We we text back and forth, and you know, yeah, man, we still going.
Dope. For those that don't know, this joint right here, Legendary, had a schedule. Really dope album. Really dope crew. Is this on? I don't know. Is this on streaming platforms? Do you know?
Yeah, that's on streaming platforms. Yeah, streaming. I do have CDs. I remember you asked me about CDs. I have CDs of that one.
Of this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I was out. Oh, go ahead. You're good.
Oh no.
I was in San Francisco. I have family out on the West Coast, and so I was in San Francisco years ago, and I went to the the name of that spot, a record store out there. I forget the name of Amoeba Records.
Amoeba, yeah.
Yeah, and I was going through, and I was like, "Oh, Legendary, yeah, I've heard of them." And picked that up from Amoeba years ago.
That's what's up.
Yeah, dope album right there. Yeah, it's funny, you know, being I didn't see it in Cincinnati. I'm sure it was here. Maybe people bought it up before I got to the record store. But it's funny, go all the way to San Francisco and buy a Cincinnati, release, But
hey. Yeah. I mean, you know, Tanya Morgan and everybody, they. From what I can tell, they had a pretty good heavy presence out there on the West Coast. So
right. That makes sense.
Definitely a lot of fans out there.
Dope. Before we get into the new album, The Overview Effect, I have some questions. Some fun questions I want to ask you. Profound, Almas, any serious questions before the fun questions?
No, we always mix them both together.
Let's mix them both together. All right. We got a few here. Okay. All right. Here's the first fun question. We're doing if then questions. All right. So if you could eat the same kind of food every day, then what would it be?
Every day. All right. From a purely gluttonous standpoint, I would say lasagna.
Bring on the gluttony.
Right. I would say lasagna. But if we thinking survival, you know what I mean? It would be something like some kind of beans and rice or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? so something that's gonna sustain you. I mean, you got to eat it every day. So
right, yeah. No,
I eat lasagna every day. I might live maybe 3 months. You know what
I mean? Right. All right, this one's a little more serious. A lot going on in the world. A lot of politics going crazy. If you could change one thing about politics right now, what would you change?
Politics. I don't know if this is politics or not, but you know what I'm saying? People need to listen to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you got two different like opposing views or like you're on two opposing sides. The objective should be to try to reach a understanding in the middle somewhere, not to, you know what I'm saying, just steamroll over somebody with your opinion or point of view. You know what I'm saying? Because we all got to live together. So we're going to have to meet in the middle somewhere.
Do you feel like in your everyday life, just the places you go, people tend to do that kind of more often, like face-to-face interactions?
Oh, yeah. If it's face-to-face, for sure. You know what I'm saying? But when people get into that, I think people call it groupthink or something like that. You know, you get around a bunch of people and we all thinking the same. Right. Then everybody else who thinking different, then they're the enemy. You know what I'm saying? They become the enemy. It becomes us against y'all. Right. But like once you start talking to somebody, I mean, they become human. You know what I'm saying? And not part of a group. You know?
Yeah, totally. And I feel like on social media, it's easy to lose sight of that, but face to face, it's a little bit easier to be like, oh, okay, this is a human person,
Yeah. And then face to face, say the wrong thing, somebody might just swing on you. I mean, you never know.
That's true. That is true. But
So people are a lot more careful, what they say to you.
that is true. That is true. And I think most people, if they're face to face and they realize the person says something out of ignorance, but not out of hatred, I think most people are pretty forgiving in that way when it's face to face, in a way that they're not on social media.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people are more likely to want to try to I don't know, maybe sometimes. Yeah. But I think it's a higher probability if you're face to face and you're talking to somebody, they will at least maybe try to see your point of view.
Right. I don't know. I think so. All right, next one. If you could read people's minds just by being 10 feet away from them, who would you want to get close to?
Oh man, read people's minds.
Anyone, it could be anyone in the world.
That's a really good question.
Oh, yeah, you got me stumped with that one. I don't know if I want to read. I don't know if I want to read anybody's mind. I don't know anybody.
You stay away from people. Be like, nah.
Right. Like,
no. Give me 10 feet.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because the stuff that goes through people's the stuff that goes through my head. Yeah. I can only imagine what goes through through other people's heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got me with that one.
We can always come back to it, but do you ever have a crazy thought and then think, man, I'm glad no one knows I thought that thought.
I'm glad it's just up here.
Yeah. Right. Totally. All right, the last fun question for you. I like this one a lot. All right, if you had $1 million budget to make your next album, then what would you do? You can only spend the money on the making of the album.
On the making of the album. Okay. The making of the album. $1 million. I would have to get in touch with the RZA. I would have to get in touch with Q-Tip. I don't know how much of my budget does that eat up. that might be a $500,000 right there, man.
He got enough for 2 tracks.
Right.
You got now you putting out a maxi.
I'll produce the rest. As long as I got the RZA and I got Q-Tip, I'm good, man.
Who do you have? Who else would you put up there in like your top producers of all time, like personal favorites?
Yeah, producers. I mean, definitely J Dilla.
Yeah.
Definitely J Dilla. High Tech is actually up there. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Cincinnati, so you know what I mean.
Yep.
High Tech is definitely up there.
Can I say something to High Tech? I feel like High Tech don't get the props he deserved, man.
Facts.
Totally.
High Tech had that sound, bro. Sorry, go ahead, Jermiside. My bad. I just had to say that, man.
Nah, you right. Yeah,
his name need to come up more when it comes when you talk about producing, because he had his own sound.
He got his own sound.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, bro. Go ahead.
No. I mean, you. That's 100%, man. He does not get his flowers, and his sound is unique, man. He has that funk, man. That Midwest funk.
Facts.
The bass lines and stuff like that. I mean, that runs through, what I'm saying, the veins in the Midwest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ohio specifically. But yeah, what was the question? Producers. I like, what's my man? 14 KT, 14 Karat.
Yeah.
Out of he's out of Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Michigan.
I think so.
Yeah.
He did work with LZI, no.
Mm-hmm.
It was dope.
Yeah, he's real dope, man. I like Tall Black Guy.
Ooh,
yes.
He's real big.
That's the homie.
Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the homie from the same area.
I love that guy, man. He can do no wrong. Like when it's a tall black guy joint, like when you hit play, you just about to be. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, he put out a project last year with Jose Moore, I think it was.
Mhm.
It was super dope, real dope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like Tall Black Guy,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm gonna check.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to High Tech for a second, I feel like he definitely had his sound, and in addition to that, I feel like he was super versatile because that dude would make beats for like the game, and it sounded like a game beat. And he made beats for like Snoop, and it would sound like a Snoop beat. 50 Cent, and it would sound like a 50 Cent beat, and then he'd
Yeah.
make an underground beat for like Common or Sadat X, and it would sound like, you know, like he knew how to fit the artists that
yeah.
he worked with, but still put his flavor on it, but make sure it sounded like it was for that artist. You know, he was real very versatile in my mind.
And whether he did that joint for Anderson .Paak.
Oh,
and that was even
man.
like, oh man, that does sound like a High Tech beat, but it's like it still has a different kind of flavor to it as well. So yeah,
right, man,
Tech
that's one of my favorite
crazy.
High Tech beats. That beat, that's such a dope beat. Yeah, he's dope, one of the best. So
Crazy.
thanks for saying that, Iomos. Yeah, he needs more flowers for sure,
A lot more.
Speaking of more flowers, we need to give you some more flowers for the overview effect. This is a great album. Came out May, I want to say, of this year, if that's right.
Yep, May 6th, my
May
birthday.
6th. It's you on the rhymes and the expert. Is that right, on the production?
Yep.
Can you tell us
expert
about,
on the beats?
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the expert for those that don't know who that is?
Yeah, the expert is a producer out of Dublin, Ireland. You know, I linked up with him. It was a good number of years ago. I had an album called which one was it? Quiet as Kept. With a producer with another producer that was based in Ireland. His name was Danny Dibs. And you know, I guess, you know, they were already kind of cool from before. And when we finished our project, you know, what we tended to do, like we would always have like 3 remixes or whatever, like bonus remixes at the end of our projects. And he did a remix for one of our singles called Victory Is Mine. And, you know, it was dope. You know what I'm saying? And I think after that, I'm pretty sure he worked with a couple of other Legendary members in between then and when I linked up with him again. But, you know, he was always kind of on the radar, you know, after that. It's like, oh, yeah, the expert. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, then he reached out to me. You know, he had an idea for a full-length project. And I said, hey, let's do it.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I want to read this sentence that y'all have y'all have on Bandcamp describing this album, which I thought was really dope. It was a very interesting sentence. It says, the production on the overview effect takes on late 60s psychedelic folk rock viewed through a 90s b-boy mentality of heavy drums and dope breaks.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy. Who wrote? Did you write that? Who wrote that?
No, I didn't write it.
Okay, that's a dope sentence right there. That's one of those sentences that makes you think, I would like to listen to this album now because I need to know what this sounds like, you know?
Right. And I mean, that's exactly how the expert presented the idea to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what pulled me in. And you know, made me agree to doing it. Cause I'm like, psychedelic rock, hip hop. Okay. All right. This is going to be interesting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't just like the run of the mill, you know, the run of the mill sound. You know what I'm saying? It was something unique. And I already knew he was dope. So I knew he was going to flip it in some kind of crazy manner, which he did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
that was his idea from inception. You know, he already had it formulated in his mind what he wanted to do, and I was kind of like the vessel. You know
Can you expand on that vision a little bit and just talk to the people about what the album is and kind of the overarching theme of the album?
Right. Yeah, like, you know, if you read the the description for the album, like I was just saying, it's pretty much, it's almost verbatim, you know what I'm saying, what the expert presented to me. You know what I'm saying? He said, I want it to be like a mix between Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" and Edon's. I can't remember what that album was called.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beat.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beat.
I mean, yeah.
He said I want to be a amalgamation of these two, songs, projects, etc. So I was like, okay, I'm down. You know what I'm saying? I accepted the mission. And what was the question?
Just if you could just talk more about
the overarching
just the
idea.
theme of the
okay,
album.
Okay. All right. So he laid that out for me. He started sending beats and things like that. We started tossing around ideas. You know what I'm saying? One day I'm, just driving in a car listening to NPR, like I do in the mornings. And, one day they had this astronaut on there. He was talking about kind of like the feeling or the phenomenon that astronauts get when they go to outer space for the first time and they look back at the planet and you become overwhelmed with just like this. You just kind of have this epiphany, you know what I mean? This moment of, realization that, we are just like a dot in the universe, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you look at the earth. You look at the earth and you see how fragile it is and how, you know what I'm saying, it's just floating out there in the middle of nothingness. You know what I'm saying? And, how, and I guess that makes people reflect on how significant and insignificant we are at the same time as individuals. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was just a perfect encapsulation of what we were trying to get across with the project. You know what I mean? Like, and I heard that. I was like, man, that's perfect. That's it. We're gonna call it the overview effect. You know what I'm saying? And I sent the idea to the expert. He loved it. And it kind of went from there.
So for your writing on the album, did you draw from having that overview effect like in your own life? Have you had moments where you felt like you were just kind of observing, society or your neighborhood or your community or just life or whatever?
That's a good question. I always feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I always kind of I play the cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like being. I really like being behind the scenes. I like letting my work speak for me. You know what I mean? And in my daily life, I'm kind of like that too. Like I'm observant. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of look and see. You know what I'm saying? What's going on and just take things in. And the album is, it's a representative of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, my outlook, you know what I'm saying? What I'm seeing in the world kind of spat back out in a creative manner for people to, hopefully relate to. So I feel that way a lot. I'm an observer. I had an album called Quiet as Kept, you know what I mean? It's because, that's kind of my MO. So
yeah. That's dope. I think that really lends itself well to creating great art, being able to observe and take in things and then put it back out there. You feel that, Iomas?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So the overview effect, if you're just tuning in, please, if you've not heard this album, go find it. Preferably buy it on Bandcamp. The Overview Effect by Jermiside and The Expert. It's also streaming just about anywhere you can stream music. So if you've not heard the album, go listen to it and give it a play. Buy it. It's a really dope album. Yep, there it is. That's what it looks like. They got that's the vinyl, right?
Yeah, it's the vinyl.
That's vinyl. There it is. It's right there. Before we head into some, we got a fun. I put together a fun night for us talking about albums. It's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be fun too. Iomas, Profound, anything else you want to chime in with?
Just hearing you talk about your experience in Cincinnati, it just made me think about this question. What made you get involved in hip hop? Like, what was that moment when you was like, yeah, I want to do this?
Okay, yeah, man. What made me want to? Okay. So being in Cincinnati, and in the Midwest in general. You know what I'm saying? Especially like in the, mid to early 90s. You know what I'm saying? I would imagine in Chicago and stuff like that, and that it was probably the same. Like, it wasn't really a whole lot of people. Like, you really had no outlet or connection with like a broader hip hop community. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it felt like I was kind of I don't know, like I was on an island or something. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like one of the, or like a Jedi or something. You know what I mean? It was like just one of those chosen few people who were like really, really into hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it wasn't really a lot of people. I didn't know anybody doing it at the time. You know what I'm saying? So this is like the early 90s. And then my brother had a friend, and he had started a group, and he brought a tape over, popped the tape in. And I mean, it was something real simple. I mean, they were just rhyming over the footsteps in the dark loop. You know what I mean? And I remember just being like, these cats are making music. You know what I mean? Because I just like, I didn't know anybody else who had been to the studio or, what I'm saying, recorded anything or anything like that. So I don't know. For some reason, it just blew my mind. I was like, these guys are actually making rap records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from that moment, that was kind of like, that was the spark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And after that, I would listen to all the tapes they made and things like that, and pretty much try to duplicate the process in my basement. And yeah, I would say that was probably the beginnings right there.
That's dope.
There really wasn't anybody. You know what I'm saying? It was like there was nobody around. So when somebody popped out, it was like, okay, yeah, we have a rap group. It was just like, for me, it was like, man, I only see rap on TV.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. Cool. Profound anything?
Humble beginnings, man. I mean, we all can relate to that. We can all relate to that, definitely.
Yeah, facts.
For sure. All right, so tonight we usually do this little game, Jermiside, called One Word, where you just come up with one word to describe like a classic album. But tonight I thought we'd have a little fun. We're gonna use a little imagination and do a few rounds where I'm gonna put you in a scene and ask you a question about two separate albums and see what you do. All right, so it's around the year is around 2010. All right. And you come back to Cincinnati, and let's just assume you don't have either of these albums. All right. You don't own either of these albums, but you come back to Cincinnati, and for whatever reason, you forgot your debit card, your credit card, you don't have it. And all you have is like $15, which is only enough for one CD. That's all you have. And you step into everybody's records. And on one side, you can get this Brooklyn Natty album by Tanya Morgan. But you also have Cool Motor by 5Ds. But you only have $15, man. You can only get one. Which one, and what is the reasoning behind why you would buy that one? All right.
Oh man, you gonna do that to me? Okay. See.
You can always come back and buy the other one later. But what's the reasoning?
Okay, I'm gonna go with Cool Motor, because Cool Motor, I had it, but I don't know, it got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah,
but, I got Brooklyn Natty. You know what I'm saying? So I go back to the house and get that.
Yeah, Brooklyn Natty. That one's easier to find too. This one's not that easy to find. At least I haven't been able to find it too much. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen Cool Motor, and yeah.
All right. Yeah. Next scenario. Now you're back in Cincinnati. You're living in Cincinnati. Year's 2000. Cool. All right. Year's 2000. And same situation, man. You always remember your credit card, your debit card everywhere you go. But on this particular day, you don't. And again, you only have about $15 in your pocket. And you can only get one of these albums. On this side, we have Supreme Clientele by Ghostface Killah.
Okay.
And over here we have Like Water for Chocolate by Common. Both albums come out in 2000. You're excited about both of them. Maybe you've heard some cuts. Maybe you haven't. You got to get both of them, but you only got $15, man.
That's a
What are you
nasty
gonna do?
choice right there.
And this is
Good
2000.
night.
This is
We talking
2000. Yeah.
Okay. All right. See that's putting some things in perspective. I would go with Supreme Clientele.
Oh, okay.
I would go with Supreme Clientele, but only because when Like Water for Chocolate came out, I didn't know it was gonna be as dope as it was.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if I hadn't heard them both, I would have got Supreme Clientele. But I love Like Water for that's one of my favorite albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
That
Like,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, if I was going into it knowing what the, you know, after I heard them, Like Water for Chocolate. But
Right.
yeah, definitely in 2000, I hadn't heard either one of these projects. I would do Supreme Clientele.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right. So now we're backing up again. The year's 2000, not 2000. The year's 1995. All right. And a lot of great gems are coming out in 95, as we all know. And man, it was 95, so you don't even have a debit card in 95. All right, it's all cash at that point, right?
Right.
I don't know when did everyone start getting debit cards? Is that around? Is that 95?
No.
I don't think that was 95. That was more in the 2000s, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
that was in
yep.
2000 era.
Yeah, so everyone's using cash at this time. You scrape some money together. Again, you only got about $12, $15, and you see this Raekwon album only built for Cuban links. You're like, I gotta get that. But then as you're walking by, you see the infamous Mobb Deep, and you're like, oh shoot. I heard this was supposed to be dope. I heard the single.
Man,
what do you do?
You killing me. You killing me with these.
I'm already dead, bro. Gone.
I'm already dead.
I understand why people stole back in the day. I understand. I have empathy.
Yeah.
I have empathy for those that stole albums, man.
Yes. I would have to boost them both.
But we're at everybody's record, so we're not gonna steal.
And this is 95. See, I have to go back to my logic on
so
this.
You've heard Wu-Tang. You probably didn't hear the first Mobb Deep album because not many people.
Nah, I didn't hear it. Was Juvenile Hill. Nah, I didn't hear that.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. You remember that Profound?
Yeah.
Because I only went back.
I heard that boy
to
too.
It.
No,
was it Juvenile? Wasn't it Juvenile Hill?
Juvenile Hill.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay. 95. Same thing. Same thing. Yeah. I would have to go. I would have to go with Raekwon.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Strictly because I already know the Wu-Tang pedigree at this point. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what Mobb Deep has in store yet.
Right. Yeah.
But after hearing both of these albums, I would roll with Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep, yeah,
that's Mobb Deep.
Magnificent.
Yeah, I love the Infamous, man. That's a straight through banger after banger after banger after banger.
I saw something so interesting the other day. Someone posted on Facebook. It was like a hip hop Facebook group, and someone posted, if you had to get rid of one track off of this album, which track would you get rid of? Which is a dumb question anyway. But anyway, I was surprised. Like there was one track that people said it was like, I don't know, 70-80% of the people said this one track, and I was super surprised by it. Any of you guys want to guess what it was?
I'm looking at the track list right now. Like, which one could it be?
You got
I'm gonna say
Survival of the Fittest, Eye for an Eye. Yeah, go ahead, Jermiside.
I'm gonna say it was probably Hectic.
QU Hectic?
Yeah. Was that it?
Nah, it was Drink Away the Pain.
What? Nah.
That's what I said. Like that's like one of my favorite songs on the album.
That's one of
the
my
two
favorites,
singles,
man.
like the two smash singles, probably I like a little better, but like Drink Away the Pain is probably right up there with I love that song.
Yeah, Drink Away the Pain. Yeah, the Q-Tip did about
Q-Tip.
2 or 3. You want to say
I
he
think
did
that's
Drink Away
right.
the Pain.
And he did.
He did.
He
The temperatures rising and
then he did give up the
good.
goods, right?
give up
Yeah,
the
give up the
goods.
goods.
Yeah.
I liked all of those.
Drums
know.
don't give up the goods though,
Man.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna fall
Q-Tip,
asleep
bro.
listening to this album tonight.
Man, bro.
All right. This one should be easy, Jermiside. It's the last one. Should be easy for
All
you.
right.
Okay. No problem. You got this. All right. So now we're going back to 93. And again,
93.
you find yourself at Everybody's Records. Shout out to Everybody's Records. And you're there because it's the same day. You go on a day where two incredible albums come out on the same day. And you're like, oh, I got to get these albums. But again, you only have, enough for one. So you have Enter the 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang Clan on one side. You're like, I got to get this. I've heard the hype. I heard the single. But then you have
already know what the
Midnight
I'm
Marauders
leaving
on
the
the other
studio.
side.
I'm leaving the studio, man. I'm out, man.
Goodness.
Good night.
Left the studio, everyone.
Oh man.
Wow.
You said this one was supposed to be easy.
I think I know which one you're gonna pick though. I have a hunch.
I mean, he been 2 for 2 with Wu-Tang Clan.
He's been 2 for 2 with Wu-Tang Clan, but if you listen to his logic,
Okay, I got you.
his logic is telling us
I got you.
it's gonna go.
Gotta go with the logic. Yeah,
Right.
because Low End Theory was already a monster. I mean,
Already.
a monster.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. I gotta go with Midnight Marauders. I might have to stay with Midnight Marauders on this one.
Okay. Yeah.
I hate to do it, but yeah.
Well, the nice thing is you can get all these albums now. You can go to Everybody's Records and buy them all, man. They
Yes,
always
sir.
got plenty of stuff. So, oh man,
Yeah,
thanks for playing along. That was fun, man. I appreciate you playing along.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoyed it, man. Yeah. Hey, shout out to Everybody's Records too, man. I bought so much music from Everybody's Records. I mean, that was like a weekly trip for me,
Yeah.
And then at a certain point I moved to, Lasannaville. It was like right down the street from Everybody's Records.
You're right
Yeah,
there.
so yeah, I was in there all the time, man. All of the Cool Motors and all of the 5Ds releases, I would get those on vinyl, because I did my little DJ thing too back in the day. Yeah, shout out to Everybody's Records.
Hey, if you plan to get back up this way, let us know, because we before COVID we were doing about 2 events a year at Everybody's Records, and now we're getting back to that. And Iomas just came down from Toronto, and we did a show down there and like a little discussion piece, and it was super dope.
I love Everybody's Records, man. I fell in love as soon as I walked in that boy. I was like, I'm home.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful store, bro. For real.
Yeah,
and the owner is super cool, man. Shout out to the owner, man. I forget his name. What's his name, Till?
Woody.
Yeah, shout out to
Woody.
the owner.
The owner just actually passed away. She was a female businesswoman, I would assume one of the first to start, her own business, all those years ago. But yeah, she just passed away like maybe a year ago or so.
Wow.
But,
really? Yeah, I never knew the owner. I don't think I ever knew who the owner was.
Yeah, I think maybe she was like real involved, in the store kind of early on, maybe, and then towards the end. Yeah, because I always thought Woody owned the store, but he was and still is, manages the store. So shout out to Woody and Everybody's Records for sure. And if my man Marcus, we're gonna bring Marcus in here. If my man Marcus, shout out to Marcus, if he was there, he's getting Wu-Tang. So there you go.
I ain't mad. I'm not mad.
That's such a great album.
Many a late nights was spent, just laying in the bed listening to Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah,
I was already like a kung fu head, like before then.
Yeah,
and for somebody to mix kung fu with hip hop, it was
right. Yeah, dope. And man, that in that era, like, I do you remember making decisions like that? I remember making decisions like that where like I didn't have enough for everything I wanted,
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember, at that time, record stores, like sometimes they would have like the little listening stations, you know what I'm saying? And that would make the choice a little bit easier.
Yep.
But sometimes not so much. Like in an instance, like Tribe versus Wu, I mean, I would probably be sitting in the record store for about an hour trying to figure out what I'm gonna take home.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, no doubt. So, listen to Jermiside. The last thing we always do on our Boom Bap chats is give shout outs because it's a hip hop show. Is there any before we do the shout outs though? Anything, any way that you want people to follow you or anything that you want people to know before we go into the shout outs?
Yeah, I mean, pick up, the overview effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what we pumping right now. Actually, tomorrow, the expert is releasing the instrumentals
Oh,
to
dope.
the album. So
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to,
Nice.
pick that up and study to those beats or freestyle to those beats or whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. We got that out. Shoot, man, pick up Lost Cargo 5 by Culture Power 45. Me and my fam are featured on there as well.
Word? I didn't know you was on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you've heard Lost Cargo 5, we're like the second song on there. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
I also got a group called the Clip Kings. You know what I
Nice.
mean? And we're on that. We got a song called Float.
Dope.
But yeah, it's on
that's
there, man.
family right there, man. Taiwan, Culture 45.
Yeah, shout out to them, man, because I love like everything they put out is solid. You know what I mean? So I had to get in contact with them, like, yo, I'm just trying to contribute to something in some kind of way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? And they made it happen. So
that's dope.
Cool. And it's called Lost Cargo 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Lost Cargo 5. By Culture Power 45.
Yep.
They do a lot of vinyl releases, 45s.
That's all they do is vinyl.
Yeah, that's what.
All vinyl.
I almost just had a Culture 45 release. Like a year ago, maybe.
Yeah. Like a year ago. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah. The name sounded familiar. That's probably I was like, the name sounded familiar.
Yeah, that's family right there, man. Culture Power 45. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything I hear from Culture Power 45 is nice.
Yeah. Well, cool. We'll do our shout outs and then we'll turn it over to you, Jermiside, to give the final shout outs of the night. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Profan, who you want to shout out tonight?
Man, shout out to brother Jermiside for coming through, man. Repping your music and your vibe is dope, brother. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to the crew, the Boom Bat Chat brothers, Bo Stowe, Io, Till, and who else we got? Who I forget? Joe November, of course. Shout out to my wife, Mrs. Profound, and the Profound 6 that are all over the place, man. And love and hip hop everywhere, positivity everywhere. You know how we do. Culture Power 45, Taiwan, everybody back at the crib. Y'all know how we do it. And peace and love and positivity, man, and hip hop.
Right on. Thanks, bro. Iomas.
I'm taking that, pro. Mrs. Murad. I'm taking that, Joe. Shout out to my wife, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jermiside, man. Thanks for coming through, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, man. We listening, and I hope you come back with new, you know what I'm saying? When you get the new product out, keep working, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Shout out, the Boom Bap Chat brothers. Shout out this book, man, Native Tongue. I'm super excited about this book, so shout out to that. Shout out to Cincinnati, everybody's hip hop, the whole Cincinnati hip hop scene, Toronto, Chicago. Man, just love. Tonight was beautiful, man. It's good to see my brothers. I haven't seen y'all in a minute. So yeah, man, shout out to hip hop, man. Always. Peace.
Right on. Thanks, Almas. I want to shout out our next few guests coming up because, like I said, we got some really dope guests. Elder Sensei is coming up from the Artifacts. Mike G from the Jungle Brothers is coming up. And Tab 1 is coming up. And Tab 1, I'm excited to have him so close to Jermiside because they both put out albums this year that I think are really, really good. And I'm kind of going back and forth, between those two and a few others. And yeah, they're just really dope music. So we got those artists coming up. So shout out to them, and shout out to the Expert for making some dope music. I think that instrumental album that you mentioned, Jermiside, would be super dope. Or not, I mean the instrumental version. That would be an interesting instrumental like it's engaging. His beats are engaging, and so that would be a really fun listen. So shout out to him. Yeah. And finally, shout out to Jermiside, man. Thanks for all that you've done and all the great music you've put into the world and the great music that you continue to put into the world. And I appreciate you doing that, and appreciate, your time and sharing a little bit of yourself and your story with us tonight. So shout out to you. And with that, we'll let you take it away for the final shout outs.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just keep it simple. You know what I mean? Shout out to all you brothers from Boom Bap Chat. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all having me on for sure. You know what I'm saying? It was good chatting with y'all. This has probably been the funnest interview I've done thus far. So yeah, for sure. Hey, there's an opportunity to come back on. Just hit me up.
Right on.
Yeah, shout out to Cincinnati, the Midwest, period. Shout out to the Legendary, my family, et cetera, et cetera. Rucksack Records, Culture Power 45, HipHop Records. Yeah, everybody, man.
Right on.
Everybody's records.
There we go. Facts. I like it. All right. Well, on that note, we say
peace.
Peace. Oh, that was quick.